The mansion in Los Angeles at the foot of the mountains in the Benedict Canyon neighborhood at 10,050 Cielo Drive was razed to the ground a long time ago because it couldn't be otherwise. The aura here is not good. And that address doesn't exist anymore. Back in the mid-90s, the building was demolished to build a new house, assigning it a different address. Originally, the house was created in the style of French country by architect Robert Byrd. Large panoramic windows, spacious rooms, fireplaces, veranda, swimming pool, flowerbeds, and a guest house. All this splendor was surrounded by a dense stand of pine, cherry, and orange trees. The design of this house was commissioned by the French actress Michelle Morgan. However, she did not live in it for long and returned to France. In the early 60s, this house was rented out. Here spent their honeymoon Cary Grant and Diane Cannon. It was rented and Henry Fonda, and Mark Lindsay, and Olivia Hussey. And in February 1969, a young married couple moved in. As long as she could remember, she was followed by people saying, "What a beautiful girl." It began with the fact that at the age of 6 months, Sharon Tate won the title of Miss Baby Dallas contest as the most adorable child. The family did not dote on their little beauty. A little later in the Tate family appeared 2 more children. So Sharon became the eldest of 3 daughters, but also remained the most favorite. At this time, Sharon's family often moved from place to place. As her father was a military man and on duty, he had to change not only cities and states, but even countries. Sharon was constantly changing schools, and she never managed to fit in with her classmates. Excessively shy, she hid her hesitancy and fear behind a mask of cold aloofness. Sharon's father in 1960 transferred to the service in Italy, and here she had her first real friends. With her new friends, Sharon spent all her free time exploring the neighborhoods of Verona. During one of these outings, Sharon witnessed an unusual sight. Not far from their school, an American movie studio was filming a new movie. This interested Sharon very much. Martin Ritt just filmed the adaptation of Hemingwayevsky stories about the adventures of Nick Adams and was happy to recruit extras from high school students. Milovan Tate's Protomidal and the performer of the role of Nick Adams, actor Richard Beymer. Richard scattered in compliments, gave professional advice, advised good agents, and all sorts of support for the girl. Working together on a movie set turned into a romantic relationship. The romance lasted for 2 weeks, exactly as long as the Hollywood crew stayed in Verona. In addition to a real first and romantic love, thanks to this acquaintance, Sharon has a new dream: to become an actress. Before this girl at the end of school intended to study psychiatry. All previous plans were immediately forgotten. Sharon was looking for any opportunity to get into the film. She managed to join the cast of the musical show Pat Boone and played a cameo role of a patrician in the historical film Veranda. She was well aware that the star of the film in Italy, she will not become a movie star in Italy. The talent here and their own abundance, and the type of her purely American. Barely graduating from high school, Sharon wandered off to America, ostensibly to enter the university, and in fact to beat the rapids of the film studios. Sharon's mother was informed by acquaintances. Doris Tate had a nervous breakdown and demanded the return of her daughter to the bosom of the family. The girl took a ticket back to Italy. For another year, she had to live with her relatives and dream of a career as an actress. It was a difficult time. She did not get along with her parents and could not forgive them for interfering with her plans. When her father finally returned to the States, Sharon left home for good. The young rebel declared, "After all, I'm 19 years old, and nobody has the right to tell me what to do or how to live my life." After buying a one-way ticket to Los Angeles, she rented a room in the suburbs. Richard Beymer had once mentioned his excellent agent, Harold Gafesky. He was the first person she went to. Harold warned her that there would be a lot of routine work, and in the end it might not be appreciated by the critics. Sharon was ready for anything: commercials, walk-on roles, episodes of TV series. Directors and casting experts found her very attractive, but shy and stiff. Usually appears at the casting accompanied by the phrase, "Come back when you gain experience." In the card catalog of the film studios, her type was defined as a pretty brown girl with curly hair. She worked hard and didn't want to come home a complete failure. And there was no one around to provide support and a reliable shoulder to lean on. Hollywood romance with handsome French actor Philippe Fourquet, who was 3 years older, was rapid. Instantly flash feelings, a quick engagement, the decision to live together. And when the joint shooting ended, Young people scattered in different directions, promising each other to remain good friends. So added another disappointment in Sharon's life, which had to survive. After meeting a friend, Sharon heeded his advice. She should find a personal stylist and change her image. This stylist was a quiet and modest Jay Sebring, who worked with famous actors in Hollywood. For a haircut to him and the salon stars were recorded a month in advance, despite the fact that it cost dozens of times more expensive than the average. Jay was enchanted by Sharon's angelic appearance and set about changing her image. He bleached and straightened Tate's curly hair and advised her to accentuate her expressive eyes with false eyelashes. He also took care of her closet, choosing stylish pieces that emphasized her elegance and slimness. Their relationship quickly turned from friendship to love. Jay turned out to be patient, caring, and very wise. He was 10 years older. Portfolio blonde Sharon Jay showed the director of the studio Filmways, Martin Renshaw, and he was struck by the striking changes in the image of the girl, who seemed to him before just a nice, simple girl. Beloved also achieved that Renshaw approved Sharon for the role of witch Odelia de Seri in the mystical thriller The Eye of the Devil. It was Tate's first notable role, and she was jumping and clapping her hands with happiness. The movie starred famous Hollywood actors Deborah Kerr, David Hemmings, and David Niven, and Jay Sebring was brought in as a stylist. The picture was filmed in England. The plot of the picture was based around a sect whose members came from the same family and practiced human sacrifice. Today, when we know how Sharon Tate's life was cut short, this coincidence seems frighteningly strange. When the shooting of the movie came to an end, Sebring presented Sharon Tate ring and made a marriage proposal, which she rejected. "My movie career has just begun. I appreciate you as a friend, but I'm not ready to be a wife. I've only smiled at my luck." Disappointed and insulted, Jay retreated, and Tate with pleasure plunged into London life. One of his acquaintances advised Sharon to show director Roman Polanski, who was going to shoot Vampire Ball. Polanski was not impressed by the game Sharon. She was good herself, but inarticulate. The girl was confused, reading the text, then brought the director in indignation. She flapped long eyelashes, about to cry, and he took pity on her and gave her another chance. For one scene with her character, Sarah required 70 takes before he was satisfied. Polanski played one of the main characters in the movie, a simple-minded young man who falls in love with Tate's character and has an affair with her. Sharon Tate was 23 years old, and Roman Polanski turned out to be the main man in her life. She soon moved into his London apartment. Just claimed that career above all else, Sharon, next to Polanski, radically changed his mind. What took her empathetic scandalist with a questionable appearance and reputation? She considered Polanski brilliant and on his proposal, "Will you marry me?" answered in the affirmative. Desperation Jay Sebring, who learned of the upcoming wedding, was not the limit. How was he to learn that a career in the movie is nothing more than an excuse, not a hindrance to marriage? Tate. But looking at a happy Sharon, Jay graciously forgave her. Jay remained a friend to Tate and Polanski, and a faithful guardian angel which will protect Sharon to the very end. January 20, 1968 held a lavish wedding in London. Sharon was at the wedding in a fashionable dress mini with a high collar ivory color and decorated her hair with white flowers and small bows. By the way, the very wedding attire of the actress has survived to this day, and in 2018 it was sold at auction for $56,000. After the marriage, the young returned to Los Angeles. Sharon landed several big roles, including Jennifer North in Valley of the Dolls, and a Golden Globe nomination. Polanski, meanwhile, conceived and successfully directed the cult mystical psychological thriller Rosemary's Baby, about a woman who is forced to become a mother to Satan's child. Sharon made a cameo in the movie as a participant in a satanic party, then cut. From then on, the clouds begin to thicken over the married couple. On Christmas Day 1968, Sharon discovers that she is pregnant. This Christmas becomes the happiest Christmas of her life. The baby was to be born in August 1969. Earlier, Sharon was afraid that marriage and the birth of a child will knock her out of the rut. She missed the chance to make a career, but now she was optimistic about the future and dreamed of becoming a mother. Sharon and Roman decided that if it will be a boy, he will be named Paul Richard, in honor of the grandfathers on both sides. The young couple enjoyed life, youth, success, and wealth. Since March 1969, Roman lived in England. He had the shooting of a new movie. Tate decided to give birth in the States. The delicate position of his wife did not prevent Polanski from seeking entertainment on the side. Many said that Polanski does not realize what a treasure got him. Roman was sure, a man, a creature polygamist and in principle is not able to remain faithful to one woman. Sharon suffered a lot because of his cheating, he knew about it, but hoped that in time she will understand everything. The affair with Sharon rented a mansion in Los Angeles at 10,050 Cielo Drive for $1,200 a month. The last time Roman saw his wife was when he escorted her to the plane ramp on July 20, 1969. Sharon was flying from London to Los Angeles. When they said goodbye, she pressed against her husband's whole body. In the belly pushed baby. Polanski recalled that for some reason then suddenly thought, but you cannot see her anymore. But he considered this thought ridiculous and hurried to drive away. The next time he saw her was on August 10 at the morgue for Alina. Besides Sharon, 3 of their closest friends were there: Jay Sebring, Wojtek Frykowski, and his fiancée Abigail Folger. On the night of August 8 to 9, they were all murdered by members of Charles Manson's family at the mansion that Tate and Polanski rented. Polanski was due back on August 17, just in time for the birth of his son, and he asked Frykowski and Folger to stay in the house with Sharon until his return. The date of his return was postponed time and again. Sharon longed for separation. She was haunted by the usual fears of pregnant women. She feared that the baby would be born early, that she would die in childbirth, and would never see her husband again. In the evening, Sharon Tate, Jay Sebring, Wojtek Frykowski, and Abigail Folger visited the El Coyote restaurant and returned to Cielo Drive in the evening after 10 p.m. Steve McQueen was fortunate enough to escape this fate. He had been invited to visit that day, but his plans were interrupted by an encounter with a charming young woman that ended at a motel. Sharon had unknowingly saved the lives of her younger sisters, Deborah and Patty. They were going to spend the night with her so she wouldn't be bored, but Sharon refused. Loyal Jay defended Sharon to the last minute. Kill me, but keep her and the baby alive. A journalist asked Tate in an interview in July 1969 whether she believes in fate, to which she replied, "Of course. My whole life has been decided by fate. I think something more powerful than ourselves decides our fates. One thing I know is that I never planned anything that ever happened to me." Charles Manson and his cult were arrested 10 days later. During that time, they managed to commit 3 more murders. One day, Sharon asked her husband to describe his ideal woman, most likely to fit that description. She was surprised when Roman replied, "That's you," and added that he didn't want her to change in any way. Sharon told her best friend Sandy Tennant about it. She later recalled it with incredible shock. After all, Roman's wish had come true. 26-year-old Sharon was not destined to change. She remained young and beautiful forever. Friends, thank you for watching. Support the channel by subscribing, liking, or commenting. And see you in new exciting videos.